Here's a question that has come up. Honey,
Yes, ma'am.
what is an energy vampire?
That's the question?
That's the question.
Oh, okay. What do you think an energy vampire is? We were talking about this earlier. So tell me what you said earlier.
Well, what I said earlier
Please.
is that it's a person who feeds off of your energy and drains you of your energy.
Okay.
That's how I've heard it referred to as from people who are call themselves empaths.
Are those the people that can feel?
Right, they
Let's
feel
say-
sensations and they feel all the different things about others.
Got it. Are they also the ones that are affected by the energy
Yes,
that they feel?
they're the ones who say that they're around energy vampires. People who are
Oh,
just
so that's
draining
what they
draining
call
them
them
of their
now.
energies.
Oh, got it. Okay.
At least that's my understanding. That's the only time I've ever heard the term used.
Right. So pretty much what they're saying is, you're taking away my energy.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, as you know, everything in the universe has a frequency, right?
Correct.
Everything. We have frequencies, the animals have frequencies, the plants have frequencies, everything has a frequency. The camera has a frequency. So, of course, you've probably seen maybe a video, or they probably had commercials with this in the past, where you see someone singing, and then there's a glass, right? And the person starts to sing at a higher note, a higher frequency, and then what happens to the glass?
It shatters.
Now, that might seem scientific. Why do you think the glass shatters?
Because the person's voice is at the same frequency of the glass and it breaks it.
Bingo, right? This person has raised his or her frequency to the same frequency of the glass, and the glass breaks. Right. Well, in our world, fortunately for us, if something is at the same frequency as us, we don't explode, right? But what happens is that item can then, or that entity, or that whatever has that frequency, can then attach to us because the frequency are similar. It's like they say in physics, we say that if things are alike, they go separate ways, even in chemistry. But then there's another saying where they say that, how do you put it? Likes attract.
Like attracts like. And I say opposites attract.
Right? So think about that, it's a contradiction, right?
Yes,
But
they all
in-
contradict.
But in both cases, it's true. Because in chemistry, you have an electron, you have a proton, they have to be positive, negative to attract. When you deal with batteries, it's positive, negative. But there's some things where they have to be the same. And then they attract each other. Well, in frequency, the more the frequency is the same, the frequencies attract. That's what
Okay.
happens here. So here's an empath, call themselves empath. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just trying to explain it this way. An empath is simply someone that pretty much has no control over their frequency. That's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, all right? Because, for example, I can feel somebody's frequency. I feel their energy all the time. I tell you about that. It doesn't affect me, though. So why doesn't it affect me? Why is it that I don't start getting sick or feel the pain that someone is feeling and all that?
Because
whatever it
you've
is.
learned to control it.
Exactly. All right? So I bring that up because it's not that the person is some kind of vampire? What is it?
Energy vampire.
Energy vampire, because the person is not drawing your energy, they're not taking your energy. Someone couldn't do that, right? But what's happening is that that individual, whomever that individual is that's been termed as the vampire, more than likely has such a low frequency that what this individual is feeling is the effect of the low frequency of the other person. All
Oh.
right? So I can feel somebody's low frequency, you can feel somebody's low frequency, and that's a great example right there, because you and I could be around the same people, and later on, you feel out of sorts. And how do I feel?
Fine.
So are you an empath?
No.
Well, according to the definition you just gave me, an empath.
Well then.
Yeah, because you felt the person's frequency and then you were affected by it.
Right. But I
Yeah.
wasn't affected where I was feeling whatever pain and everything they're feeling.
Well, you don't know that because you don't pay attention to that, because you don't consider yourself an empath.
Ah.
Get the point?
Interesting. I got the point.
Now, many times we're normally together, we're talking to the same people, we're around the same people, you all of a sudden you feel you have a headache and all this. I have to go and do a clearing on you, but I'm fine. But I was
Right.
around those same people, and I could easily tell you, oh, this person wasn't feeling well or whatever it is. I can feel the energy, but I'm not affected by it because my frequency is higher than theirs. So that's what I mean by how whomever it is that considers him or herself an empath, they simply haven't raised their frequency to the level where it can stay high and they're not affected by a lower frequency. What they need
Got
to
it.
do is to learn how to keep their frequency high so they're not affected by the lower frequency. They'll still be able to feel it, but it won't affect them because theirs is too high for the lower frequency or the lower frequency entity or whatever the entity is that wants to attach to them. It won't be able to attach because their frequency is too high. Point is, whomever's been termed an energy vampire simply has more than likely attachments or possessions is what's going on. It's not the person is drawing energy from anybody. It's the entity that's on, or entities that are on that individual that are lowering or attaching themselves to the other individual that has a higher frequency or the same type of frequency. Because all
Got
they
it.
want to do is they want to use your energy. That's how they survive, right? That's how they go from one person to the next. Like, ooh, I can get energy from this person. So that entity goes and attaches itself to that person with the same type of frequency, and then they use that person's energy. So of course, if they go around somebody else that has energy that this entity can use, they'll try to use up that energy as well. But it's not the individual that's the vampire. It's the entity that's attached to that individual.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense. That answers the question.
So we go back to that, using yourself and myself as an example. We're around these individuals, right? They probably have some attachments or possessions on them. We're talking to them, we're mingling with them. And normally you're the one doing most of the mingling. That's why it probably happens, but I don't like mingling.
Yes.
So you're there talking, and every now and again I say hi, right? We leave, and you say, man, I don't feel right. But I'm fine. Right? What just happened? Whatever entities were on those individuals, they attach themselves to you because of your frequency. They couldn't attach to me because my frequency is too high. Right? That doesn't mean that the individuals that we're around are energy vampires. It
Right.
doesn't mean that at all. It does not mean that at all because they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know what's happening.
You know, some people might say, oh, well, yes, they are, because when I leave their presence, I have absolutely no energy. It's like I have to go to sleep. I just can't do anything. And I've felt that way before because I know when I've had possessions and attachments, I mean, I've literally just knocked out. I go lay down on the couch and sleep because I really feel unable to do anything. But once they're cleared, I'm back to normal. So again, it's the attachments, possessions, whatever there might be. It's not the person draining you of your energy.
So you can see, like you said, once you got cleared, and then it happens in what? How long does it take for that to happen?
What part?
The clearing.
The clearing for it to take full effect? Maybe minutes.
Exactly.
I mean, for me, I normally feel it within 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. So again, if it were something that person is doing, why would it only take? You've already left them, and yet still you feel the same way. So what does that tell you?
That it couldn't be them.
Exactly.
Because I've already left their presence, so they couldn't
That's
be
correct.
continuously taking my energy because I'm away from them now.
Now somebody can say, well, they took it away from you before you left. Okay, fine. If that's the case, how did you leave? How do you even get energy to leave?
Right. That's a good question.
Right?
But I left and got cleared, and then I was fine
Within minutes.
within minutes.
That tells you that there were entities that attached themselves to you that were draining you of your energy. And once those were cleared, you were fine within minutes. You were not clear of the individuals that you were around because you left them and you were still not feeling well.
Right.
Okay, but once the clearing is done of those entities that are attached to you, you're fine. I repeat that because I want to make it clear that it is not the individuals that someone interacts with that causes the issue.
It's the
It's
entities.
the attachments,
the
exactly.
attachments.
The entities that have attached or that are possessing individuals that are causing the issue. They're the ones that are the parasites, energy parasites, right? Or call them energy vampires if you want to. But individuals don't do that. It's the entities that are causing that.
Okay,
I hope that helps.
that helps. I think that
I had
covers the
ano-
topic.
No, I had another thought about that because, okay, for example, imagine that here you are. Imagine that you go to a place. There's nobody at the place. Okay? Or maybe you're just walking on one side of the road. All of a sudden, you just feel out of sorts. You just feel weird. Has that ever happened to you? Okay. How do you explain that?
Well, it was at my mom's house, and it was going up to the second floor of her house, and felt that way. And I called you, and sure enough, there were entities around the second floor of the house. You cleared them.
Okay. But there weren't actual people.
No,
But I don't know, did you feel weak or anything like that in that case?
I didn't feel weak. No,
Okay.
but I could feel a heaviness.
Okay. Well, that's different. I'm talking about where if you're walking down the street or if you're walking somewhere in a place, all of a sudden you just feel like your energy is just gone. You just feel exhausted. And all you've done is just walk down the street or
You know,
just...
I'm always with my husband, so I couldn't tell you if it's just from being in a place by myself or just walking down the street because I'm always with someone. So I don't know that I could actually say that
Oh,
I've
so
had
you're
that
saying if you
experience.
feel that way, it's because of me?
No, I'm not saying it's because of you. I'm saying it's because normally I'm with you, so I wouldn't pay attention to, just being in a certain area and all of a sudden relating it to just being by myself.
Oh, okay.
I would relate it
Right.
to because you and I are always going out different places. So I would just think that it was
It was what?
from somewhere, being around someone.
Oh, no, but I'm just talking about when you're walking, for example, we could be walking down the street, right? And as we're walking down the street, we get to a part of the road where you could feel a difference in energy. And maybe you've never experienced that. But there are people that can
No.
actually feel that difference. Maybe these folks that call themselves empaths can feel a difference. I know I can feel a difference.
Right.
You literally can feel there's a difference in energy. And you know, okay, there's an energy shift here. Well, but then there's nobody there.
Right.
But you know that when you feel that shift, that there are entities there that you need to clear.
Yes.
It's the same thing. So when you call that space, like a space vampire? Yeah?
No.
Exactly. It's just it's a space, and they're there waiting to attach to whomever they can. And more than likely it's because something happened at that location. Maybe that's where they died, something, and so they're stuck there. Right? So I'm just trying to find as many examples as I can. Going back to, for example, you spoke yesterday with someone on the phone last night.
Right.
And then after that, you woke up this morning and you were cursing. You know, we did a video earlier about this, right? And we identified exactly who you were talking to
Yes.
because that was the last thing you did before you went to bed.
Right.
But then as I told you last night, you were talking in your sleep.
Uh-huh.
And
That's
you
what you
woke
said.
up and then you said that you had these strange dreams.
Yes.
So that's, if you experience something like that, then what do you say? An energy vampire did that because you spoke to somebody the night before and then you woke up not feeling right?
I wouldn't call that an energy vampire, no.
Right.
That person didn't take away my energy. So,
But then gave you all kinds of nightmares.
yes.
Well, that person didn't give you nightmares.
No, the entities gave me nightmares.
Exactly. Okay?
I'd be talking in my sleep, but
So that's another example. And this is another way that people should be able to monitor themselves, going back to that video we did earlier, where they wake up with strange dreams, really weird dreams, they know, okay, something's wrong here with this picture. And you didn't even try to figure out the meaning of that dream. You just say, okay, let me send a message that I need to be checked at this point.
yes.
All right, so that has nothing to do with energy being sucked or whatever it is, energy
Taken away
vampires
from
are
you.
taken away from you. It's just that it's attachments or entities attaching to you. And a lot of times people don't want to hear that. I hope this doesn't scare anybody. It shouldn't scare anybody because they can be removed very easily.
Exactly.
It's not like it's difficult to do. You send us a message, we get rid of them.
Yep.
Okay? But what was this topic about?
Energy vampires.
Energy
What are
vampires,
they?
okay. All right, so the point is that there are a lot of them out there. Okay, so it's not, an energy vampire should not, that term should not be attached to a person.
Right.
Energy vampires are things like the entities,
The possessions,
the
attached,
possessions,
spirit
okay?
attachments.
Because they're the ones that are using your energy. And when you think that somebody is doing it, it's not that individual, and they're the entities that are attached to that individual. All right, and those are what we call energy parasites or energy vampires. But no human being should be described as an energy vampire.
Okay.
It's not accurate. I hope that's very clear in the way we explain everything.
I think it is. And if it isn't, please let us know. If you have any comments or questions, send them our way.
Now, if you run into somebody like that, where you're around that person all the time and you feel drained, then you might want to talk to them, and I don't know how you'll do it. They might get mad at you, but say,
Yeah.
you know what, reach out to these folks. And if you're someone that you realize that when you're around certain people, your energy is drawn, it gets reduced, then you need help yourself. Because that should not be happening. That's not
Exactly.
normal either. And I understand that people have put a term on it called empaths, but that's something that you should be controlling. You should not be allowing yourself to be affected by entities that are drawing on your energy and lowering your frequency, because that's really what's happening. And you are inviting them in. You're so wide open, you're not protected, that it happens all the time. So that shouldn't happen. So that should be corrected as well.
Okay. All right. If you found this information helpful, feel free to pass it along. Remember to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, like the video, and then find us on Instagram at 190 Vision. Our website is 190vision.com. On Facebook, our private group is called Clearing, Healing, and Guidance. See you next time.